Conservative New Media viewers and JLin fans around the world, what is up? It's me, PFE, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. We're here to talk about Houston's 112-101 victory tonight, or actually last night, over the Minnesota Timberwolves in Houston, Texas. With the win, Houston improves to 9-5 on the season. Now, this is the long video about the game. We did a short video about the game earlier, and if you'd like to check that out, or you don't have time for this long video, I encourage you to go to our channel and watch the 12-minute short video about the game instead. Okay, Jeremy started this game in place of the injured James Harden. James Harden is still overcoming, I believe, foot bruises on both of his feet. And he did miss this game, and that wasn't known that he was going to miss the game until shortly before the game took place. I think Harden will also miss the next game against the Memphis Grizzlies, which is coming up tomorrow on Monday here in the United States. The team played well in this game. They played well without James Harden. The ball moved well. There were too many turnovers in this game, though, for Houston. So that's something that they need to watch going forward. But there was good ball movement. And when you don't have a ball stopper or an isolation guy as much in the offense, that helps. And so I thought that was, you could see that tonight a little bit. Now, again, James Harden can play as a passer, and he can move the ball too. He just doesn't always play that way. But when you take that guy out of the mix, things can sometimes be much smoother on offense. Seen this multiple times, like with the Lakers and Kobe. The Lakers are moving the ball great right now, and Kobe's not around, and that's not necessarily a coincidence. Aaron Brooks came off the bench and crushed it. He was just phenomenal in this game. And honestly, Houston really needed him, and he came through big. And I've told you guys before, this is the reason why you carry several point guards on your roster, particularly when you have younger point guards like Patrick, Beverly, and Jeremy. So that when they're a little off or you're not sure what you're going to get, you can bring in someone like Aaron Brooks who definitely can score the ball when he's in his groove, and that's what he did tonight. Terrence Jones continues to play well. He's really developing nicely. He had an excellent game tonight, and his continued development is really helping the team and is going to help them if he can keep playing like this. Jeremy surged in the fourth quarter of this game. He had a big fourth quarter, and we'll talk more about that in the time to come. And it's just great to see him playing like this. He's back to his usual self in terms of Mr. Fourth Quarter. And he had a strong game after the debacle in Dallas. And that's good to see. He wasn't down on himself or pouting or any of this stuff. He came out and he did what he's done 11 other times this season. And it's nice to see that. The guards were very strong for the Rockets tonight, particularly the point guards, meaning Jeremy, Patrick, and Aaron Brooks. They scored, I think, over half of the points for Houston in this game. And this is what it can look like. When the offense is playing well and these guys are in sync, they can do serious damage. And that's what you saw tonight. And that's even without Harden. So this team has tremendous amount of talent on it. It's just a matter of guys playing well at the same time and maturing and gaining confidence and being in sync. And that should get better and better as time goes along. But tonight you got a taste of what it can be like and how powerful that guard attack can be, even without James Harden. So that was good to see. The team is at its best when the scoring is balanced. The scoring was balanced tonight. I think all the starters had double figures in points. They did. And also Aaron Brooks had double figures in points. So when the ball's moving around and everybody's touching it and everybody's getting points, that puts the defense at a significant disadvantage because they don't know who to guard. They don't know who to double team. They don't know who to focus on. And that's really good. And so it was nice to see that tonight. JLin played excellent defense tonight against Kevin Martin. Really good defense. Now, I know I said something about Kevin Martin in the short video, and you guys are wondering what I meant, and I'll talk about that more in a second as regards him and Jeremy. Jeremy really went after it tonight on defense. He's capable of doing this. He's capable of doing this. Just as I said in the video I made about Jeremy before this video regarding the limitations in Jeremy as the YMCA player. If you can't do everything at once. So Jeremy's trying to do a whole bunch of different things right now. He's trying to become a better three-point shooter. He's trying to play better defense. He's trying to improve his ball handling. He's trying to improve his decision-making. He's trying to play better defense. Well, you can't do all of that all at once. Your mind's trying to figure it all out, and it can't figure out everything at the same time. So you're going to get nights like this where really good defense, and then that might come next to a game where not so good defense. And that's just what it is. That's because Jeremy's an inexperienced player, and he's learning. But you saw what he could do tonight. He did a great job. And it was really good to see. Okay, let's talk about some statistics here. Patrick finished the game with 17 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. He played 33 minutes, shot 6 of 12 from the field, 5 of 8 from three-point range, no free throw attempts, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 3 turnovers, 3 fouls, plus minus was a +1. His efficiency was 13. Someone asked me, why was his efficiency so bad? It really wasn't that bad. It wasn't incredible. The reason why the efficiency was down for Patrick more than what you'd think it would be was because his rebounds and assists weren't very much, and he had 3 turnovers, and he also had no steals and no blocks. So you would have thought it would be a little bit better based upon his points. But it just shows you why efficiency is kind of a good metric. You can get a bunch of points, but if you don't have a bunch of other stats or you miss a lot of shots, your efficiency is not going to be that high. So, look, Patrick had a good night. He scored the ball. And particularly what Patrick did really well in this game was he hit 3-pointers. And that's good. And Patrick and Jeremy work well off of each other because Patrick's a spot-up shooter type of guy, and Jeremy will get him the ball. And you saw that, and you've seen that throughout this season. That's why one of the reasons why they work well in the court together. It's almost, in a lot of ways too. It's James Harden and Patrick. We talked about James Harden maybe liking Patrick on the floor because he helps him with defense and doesn't have to worry about Patrick needing too many shots. It was kind of like that for Jeremy too. They work well together. They have good chemistry together. Like I said, Patrick likes Jeremy and Jeremy likes Patrick. So even though they're competitors in some ways for minutes, they like each other. Good. That's great. They're young players who are learning the game and developing themselves in the NBA talent. And they're the same age. And they have similar stories, if not the exact same story. So it's great. They're helping each other out a lot. Patrick's improving on offense. You could see him. He's getting better drives. He's learning from Jeremy. Jeremy's learning from him. So, good. Jeremy finished the game with 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. 34 minutes played, 5 of 11 from the field, including 2 of 5 from three-point range, 7 of 8 free throws, 2 steals, 1 block, 5 turnovers, 4 personal fouls, plus minus was a +8. His efficiency was 20. So Jeremy's efficiency looks better than Patrick's because he had a couple more rebounds, a couple more assists, a couple of steals, And that's kind of how you rack up numbers. That's how guys tend to be, stat stuffers, or they fill up the box score, is the expression in English, because you just get a couple stats here and there. And that's how you get your numbers. That's how you get the efficiency up. And Jeremy did a very good job of that tonight, even though he had 5 turnovers. That's really the only thing you can quibble about for him tonight, in my opinion. Aaron Brooks, again, huge night, 26 points, 4 boards, 5 assists. Boards just means rebounds. It's just another way to say rebounds. 25 minutes played. So Aaron Brooks had 26 points in 25 minutes. That's pretty darn good. That's pretty good. 10 of 14 shooting, 6 of 7 three-pointers, 0 free throw attempts, 2 steals, no block shots, 4 turnovers, 0 personal fouls. His plus-minus was a +9. And Aaron's efficiency was 29, which is tied for the best on the Rockets. So when Aaron is at his best, he's an instant offense type of guy, which is exactly what he was tonight. A lot like Jeremy, a lot of ways. Aaron is a guy that a couple years ago was a phenomenal player. He's not a big guy. He's not a tall guy. He's not going to play great defense many times, but you saw what he could do tonight if you saw this game. That's what he's capable of. Hitting three-pointers and scoring a lot of points very quickly. This is what Houston envisioned in getting him. Again, you have 2 young players and not fully established players in Jeremy and Patrick. You need a guy who can come in when your main guys aren't quite ready or they're not playing up to par and get you a bunch of points. And that's what Aaron did tonight. If Aaron can play like this, and he's not going to play like this every night, but if he can play something like this, this team's going to be a lot better. The depth gets even more. So I'm thrilled Aaron played like this. I know there's probably some Lin fans that are nervous about this, like, Aaron might take some of Jeremy's time, but I'll talk more about that in later. This is good that Aaron plays like this, and it actually ends up helping Jeremy, and it certainly helps the team. The team needed him to play like this tonight, and he came through. Terrence Jones, 18 points, 10 rebounds, also had a 29 assist. Terrence is playing great. I didn't expect him to play this well this quickly. What it shows to me is he's really taken his improvement seriously. The thing about Terrence is everybody knows how talented he is. Everybody in the league, everybody on the team. The concerns about him have been his focus, his mental focus, and his maturity. Can he do it consistently? Well, now he's starting to do it consistently. So if you start getting Terrence Jones playing like this, and Aaron Brooks can do what he's doing, this team is scary in a lot of ways, although they still have flaws like turnovers and defense. But that's what this team is capable of doing. Tonight you saw a real taste of it, and it's great. And remember, James didn't even play. So this is really, really good to see. Dwight Howard, 11 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists. His efficiency was 25. So there were a lot of complaints about Dwight, particularly from LA fans and from others, and some of them were deserved. Dwight only wants to score. Dwight's got to get the ball. Dwight didn't score a bunch tonight, and I don't think he cares because he knows he's doing what he needs to do, and the team's scoring, and the team's winning. And I think Dwight cares more about that than he cares about his own stats at this point in time, and that's really good because he wasn't always like that. And he might not have been like that last year, but it just shows you he's in a better frame of mind. He's focused on winning now rather than his own stats, and that's something that doesn't always happen for young teams and young players, but it's good to see this. Chandler Bieber Parsons, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Chandler's efficiency, I believe, was a 13. Omri Caspi off the bench, 5 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. Omar Ashik, 2 points, 8 boards, and his efficiency was 9. For the Timberwolves, they were led by Kevin Love, who had a 27 points, 15 rebounds. His efficiency was 32. I believe he had the game-high efficiency on the evening. Nikola Pekovic had 14 points and 7 boards. He had a 14 efficiency. But Kevin Love is a tremendous player. There's been a lot of criticism over the past. He's just a stat stuffer guy. He's not really a winner. His stats are empty. Well, look, it's pretty nice to have 27 and 15. I'll take those empty stats. That's pretty good. So Love is taking his game to the next level. He's up there now. He's up there as a player in the league, and he put up some numbers tonight. Ricky Rubio, starting point guard, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. His efficiency was 16. Kevin Martin, former Rocket, 19 points, 3 boards, 1 assist. Played 35 minutes, shot 7 of 19 from the field, including 3 of 6 from three-point range, 2 of 2 free throws, 1 steal, no blocks, no turnovers, 3 fouls, plus-minus was a minus 16. His efficiency was 12. J.J. Barea, backup point guard, 3 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Alexei Shved, 7 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. He's the backup shooting guard. Corey Brewer had a nice game for the Timberwolves, 22 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. He's been a really good player for them this year, better than what I thought he could be, and he makes them a lot better. And the Minnesota is not at full strength right now. They're missing their backup center, Ronny Turiaf. Also missing their starting small forward and Chase Budinger, who I believe was a former Rocket himself. I'm pretty sure of that. They're a good team. I think they have a very good chance of making the playoffs this year. The problem for them is they get hurt a lot, and which they're kind of suffering from right now. But they're top 10 in the league in both offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency. And this was an excellent win for Houston. This was a good win. It was Minnesota can score a lot quickly, and Houston handled that. And it was, again, it was an impressive victory for the team. Okay, let's turn to Jeremy specifically. Now, I mentioned in the short video comments that Clyde Drexler was at it again. You guys, a number of you said it. I believe Tim Wong was kind of sticking up for Clyde. Look, I think this is going to be an ongoing issue. Based upon listening to Clyde a number of times this year, this seems like it's going to be an ongoing concern. I don't know what his issue is. I don't know what it is. Is he biased? I have no idea. What I do know, and I'll talk more about this in quarter by quarter, what I do know is that Clyde will point things out with Jeremy that he doesn't point out with other players, including James Harden, including Patrick Beverley, etc. It's just ridiculous. The stuff about jumping and turnovers and you can't turn it over, and then Patrick does a very similar thing, and that's okay because Patrick was trying to make a play, but somehow it's not okay when Jeremy does it. I don't understand why he does this, and it's really, really annoying. And a number of you guys are annoyed just like I'm annoyed. I've rolled with this. I give Clyde credit when he's nice to Jeremy, but there just seems to be some type of persistent issue here. It keeps coming back. and now you just expect it. And that's not good. It's not good. Again, I've told you many times, I like Clyde, but this is not good. And I really hope that this can change, or somebody talks with him, or something is said, because this is going to frustrate a whole bunch of people. And as I mentioned in the short video, I believe it was, Clyde even took a shot at Manny Pacquiao. Now that's fine. It's the thing about Manny, because Jeremy got hit or something, and Jeremy's always, Matt Bullard, the other analyst, was like, Jeremy's always getting hit, and he takes a lot of hits to the face. And I don't know, one of the other guys said something, and he takes more punches and takes more hits than anybody. And Clyde's in like, more than Manny Pacquiao? I get it. I understand Manny Pacquiao got knocked out by Juan Manuel Marquez, and Manny Pacquiao was fighting last night and all this stuff. But, you're dissing Jeremy. Now you're dissing Manny Pacquiao. What is that? That might not work out real well for a good portion of your audience. That's probably the best way I can say it. So I'm not happy with this. It's not enjoyable to watch and listen to if you're a Jeremy Lin fan, at least not in my opinion. So I don't know. I mean, I guess we just have to keep talking about it, and people are going to have to say things until maybe something is brought to Clyde's attention or somebody else's attention. I don't like this. And it's really getting annoying and frustrating, and it doesn't feel really fair. So, I mean, that's the latest on that. Okay, Kevin Martin and Jeremy Lin. Why did I say what I said in the short video? Why did I say that I didn't think Kevin Martin was Jeremy's biggest fan? The reason why I said that, when Kevin and Jeremy were playing last year, I guess it was in the preseason. This was only a few games. This is when they were both on Houston. Kevin did not seem like he wanted to pass Jeremy the ball, like ever. Now, we've seen that various times with various players on the Rockets this year, but it was even more so with Kevin, if my memory serves me correctly. And then, when Kevin played the Rockets last year, at least once, but I think I remember this a few times, whenever Jeremy was guarding Kevin, he would just attack Jeremy. There was something about it that felt personal, in a similar way that when James Anderson and Philly played the team, it felt personal. So I don't know what it is. Now, again, there is a strategy to attack Jeremy on defense, which we saw in this same game. But it felt like more than that. And it felt like more than that to me because, like I said, I saw tension apparently between these two when they were on the same team. My guess is that, maybe Kevin Martin felt like he should have been valued more. I don't know. Or Jeremy was brought in and Jeremy was paid a bunch of money, or maybe that was felt and maybe Kevin didn't like that. I don't know. I don't want to make stuff up, and I'm not trying to put Kevin Martin down here. You can feel what you want to feel the same way that James Anderson can feel what he wants to feel. But it had the feeling to me that he's not Jeremy's biggest fan. And I had that impression when I watched them last year. Again, when they were on the same team and when they were on different teams, with the way that he seemed to treat Jeremy, or the way that the interaction seemed to go. That's my impression. Look, it happens. It happens all the time. New guy comes in, new guy gets paid or whatever, and you're not happy about it. Or you're the man, or you think you're the man, and then another the man comes in, and you don't like it. And maybe Jeremy's overhyped in your mind, or whatever it is. But that's just something I observed with them before. And it still seems like it might be going on now. I told you guys, there are a lot of people around the league, and you hear trolls say this on like JeremyLin.net and stuff, who they don't think Jeremy's any good. And they don't respect his game. And they're going to go at him. Is that fair? No, of course it's not fair. But it's going to happen. And the way you deal with it is you slowly push it back. And Jeremy's doing that. Look, it's not fair. It's not. It shouldn't be happening. But it's going to happen. So you work with it and get past it. This is exactly what Jeremy did in this game. Oh, okay. You want to come at me and attack me? Well, I'm going to beat you. And that's what he did. And the more he does it, the less people will try to come at him like that. And the less this nonsense about he can't play and all this junk will go out the window. This is part of why Jeremy's a trailblazer and a pioneer. No, he's not the first person of Asian heritage to play in the league, but he's one of the only ones now. And the other of the players, except maybe Yao, they didn't have any fanfare. And look, Yao went through a bunch of junk. So Jeremy's the guy catching all the grief right now. And everybody wants to test him out and show that he's no good. So it's not fair what he has to deal with. But this happens. And he's dealing with it pretty well. So that's good. And, he's kind of showing that a lot of the perceptions of him are false. And that's good. I said the other day the stuff, JLin Rose, Kenny Smith. Well, yeah, I don't think they're the biggest believers in Jeremy. Well, guys are going to have their opinions. You just go out and play and do your thing. And you just kind of prove them wrong, basically. Look, at Jeremy last year, he spent a lot of time thinking about all this. This is what he said in his testimonies, and you can't do that. Just go out and play, and things will take care of themselves. And that's what he's doing. I mentioned before, I've mentioned several times in these videos, the figure of Mahatma Gandhi. Of course, the social activist in India from whatever it was, 1940s or whenever, 1930s. I can't remember exact dates right now. Gandhi had a saying that went something along the lines of, first they laugh at you, and then this something, and then you win. Well, you just slowly change the story. And that's what Jeremy's doing for himself and for other athletes of Asian heritage or the other athletes that don't fit the mold of what NBA players look like or what their background is, or they're coming from the Ivy League. So they're still trying to laugh at Jeremy and put him down. But eventually, Jeremy and other people like him are going to win. And that's what's going on, which is, again, the Gandhi saying. You start at one thing, and then you end up winning. So just keep moving along, and that's exactly what Jeremy's doing. So that's all he needs to do. So if Kevin Martin doesn't like him, if JLin Rose isn't a huge fan, if Kenny Smith isn't a big fan, so what? They're not playing. Just go out and play your game and let everything else take care of itself. And that's what Jeremy's doing. So good. Now, if you didn't see it, I made a video after the Dallas video. I just made one Dallas video. But I made a video after that a lot of you probably haven't seen yet. And it's like the title something like about Jeremy Lin's limitations, the speed of the game, and YMCA player. So if you haven't seen that, go and watch it. It's on the channel. You'll see it. It's 2 or 3 videos ago of all of our videos. And I made the video because there were people that weren't happy about what I said after the Dallas game. And specifically, I mentioned about Jeremy's limitations, how he can have issues with the speed of the game, and the whole issue about me talking about him as a supposed YMCA level player. So if you have any questions or concerns about where I'm coming from or why I say certain things, then go and watch that video. And even if you don't have any questions, I'd still encourage you to go watch the video, because we just talk more about all of these things and about where Jeremy's at as a player and things he can work on and where he's going as a player. So I just wanted to bring that up. Now, Dwight Howard, after the game, as a couple of you guys pointed out to me, praised Jeremy for his defense on Kevin Martin. Why did he say that? Well, one, he obviously that's what he felt. Jeremy did do well on defense against Kevin Martin, which was good to see. But let me also tell you why he said that, in my opinion. 2 reasons. Number one, he wanted to make sure that Kevin McHale heard that. Remember, Dwight came out the other day and said the thing about guys taking themselves out of the game when they're tired. Well, as I said then, Dwight cares about, and this was actually in that same speed of the game video, limitations video, Dwight is a guy that's focused on defense, much more than offense. And he looks at himself as the team leader for defense. He's always been like that. He was like that in Orlando, and he felt the same way when he was in the Lakers. So if there's a problem with team defense or defense in general for a team, he's going to say something. So when he sees something that he likes, he's going to say that too. But the reason why this is kind of a message to McHale is, yeah, if you have somebody in the game, and I think we know who we're talking about here, who isn't playing good defense, you need to get him out of the game. So this was a message for McHale. If James Harden's not playing defense, get him out of there. You saw that Jeremy's capable of playing good defense. Put him in. If James Harden's playing 40 minutes and 30 or 10 or 15 of those minutes are more focused on offensive stats, and he's basically letting Vince Carter go right by him, put Jeremy in. So that's a message for, it's praising Jeremy, reinforce it. As I told you guys, you say things to praise people to get the behavior repeated. You did good defense, I'm going to praise you so you play good defense again. It's a message to McHale, and it's a message to James Harden. You need to play better defense. The point being here, yeah, we won because Jeremy played good defense on Kevin Martin. So that's why Dwight said this. Dwight's a smart guy. He's made a bunch of public relations mistakes in the past, but he understands how to work the media and how to get your message out through the media. This was not an accident that he said this. The point is exactly what I said. James Harden needs to play better defense. And if he's not playing better defense, Kevin McHale, you need to get him out of there. And James Harden, you better play better defense. And Jeremy, you did play good defense, so we're going to give you credit for that so that you'll do it again. Jeremy's three-point shot was back in this game. He hit 2 of 5. Not incredible, but 40%. If you should shoot 40% from three-point range, you're a great shooter. So Patrick's numbers are coming up. He's at about 38%. Jeremy's numbers at like 41%. And that's kind of regressing to the mean or going to the mean. Jeremy's not going to shoot 50% from three-point range all the season, but he struggled a little bit in the last few games. So it was good to see him hit some shots, hit some threes in this game, and he did do that. And that's what it's going to be, particularly as Jeremy is still learning to become a good three-point shooter. He will have stretches where he doesn't hit threes, but he kind of got back on track tonight, and that's really good. Now, Malor Kayel said in the comments of the short video, was saying, hey, Paul, you said that Jeremy played very well, and actually he only played just well. Yeah, that's kind of true. But remember, I'm kind of grading on a curve here which is to say I'm comparing how he played in this game to the Dallas game. And I know a lot of people didn't like the Dallas game and were down about it. So I might add the very well just to kind of pump it up a little bit. But honestly, he did play really well in this game, except for the turnovers. The guy almost put up 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. That's amazing. There's very few people in the league that average those numbers. So Jeremy did play well in this game. And not only did he put up those numbers, he played excellent defense on Kevin Martin. I don't want to get hung up on any one thing, including the turnovers. As you guys know, I'm very focused on the turnovers, which is why I praised him for the 4 games before this game. But as I said earlier, you can't do everything. You can't do everything. If Jeremy does 5 out of 6 things well, then I'm going to praise him for doing it well and having a good game. Not going to get focused and hung up on one thing. Even though I know it, I'm aware of it, I just don't want to get stuck on that. He had a good game. So let's be, I want to be positive about it while also telling the truth about what he has to keep working on. We saw this is just like the Philly game when Jeremy was the starter and he can get a little too comfortable, kind of a little too loosey-goosey, a little too relaxed and kind of let the turnovers flow. But it's normal. It's normal. This is the normal stuff for a young player who's trying to find his groove. Somebody said Jeremy, it might have even been Malor Kayel, again, somebody said Jeremy needs more killer instinct. Well, let me tell you something. Before you have killer instinct, you need to have confidence. Jeremy's still working on the confidence. And it's not easy to have confidence when you got benched and you're not sure how long they're going to let you play in a game. So he's still working on this. I'll tell you something, and I think I said this in a short video. Some of the greatest players who ever played, if you listen to them and they talk about when they first came in the league, they had to build up their confidence. I remember hearing Michael Jordan say when he scored 63 points against the Celtics in a playoff game, which I think was his second year. He said he was so happy because after the game, Larry Bird said Jordan played like he was God or something. And Jordan said, yeah, that gave me confidence. So even the best players need confidence. Jeremy's had a lot of his confidence taken away because of all the nonsense that's going on for him. And he needs to work on building that up. And that's going to be built up by getting more playing time, having more success, being consistent. So he's getting there. He doesn't have the freedom right now from the coaching staff to have a killer instinct. He has to just kind of survive and try to stay on the floor. As he moves along in the process, he'll get to the killer instinct thing. Honestly, that's a long ways away. Now, he can have it in a game. We know Jeremy has swag. Jeremy's a confident player. He knows that. He's admitted that. He tends towards that, and that's good. But for now, he needs to continue to build up his skill level, ball handling, shooting, etc., and he needs to continue to be able to stay on the floor and get the coach's confidence. So killer instinct's still a long ways away, but he doesn't need that right now. He knows he can do that. And all of his fans, we all know that he has that. We've seen it. We saw it. We saw it in New York, and we saw it last year, and we've seen it this year. It's there, just one thing at a time. First, consistency, then killer instinct. Yes, this was not a good game for Jeremy as regards to turnovers. You don't want 5 assists, 5 turnovers, a 1-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. Again, as Jeremy came into this game, the last 4 games, he had about a 5-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio, and this broke that streak. And a couple of the turnovers weren't very good. But it's just let it go. The way that Houston plays at a fast pace, you're going to get some turnovers. There are still chemistry issues. There are times when guys aren't looking for passes. Jeremy's not in sync with them. And Jeremy still has to rein himself in some. Don't jump the pass. Don't get hung up on drives, which happened a little bit in this game, and it hasn't happened recently. And that's what I said. Jeremy, when he's the starter and he's got a little bit of leash, he can get a little too relaxed, which I'm sure the coaching staff knows that, which is probably part of the reason why they do the short leash, to try to push him to not playing that way. And so this is just natural stuff for an inexperienced player. So I'm not. So I said he played well tonight. I'm not going to get hung up on one thing. I'm just not. I mean, I looked at the stats after the game, and his turnovers per 36 minutes went up like 0.1. So they went up from like 3.5 to 3.6. Do I like that? No. I wanted to go the other way. I want to go Jeremy to get down to like 3.0. But it's 0.1. I'm not going to freak out about that. The team won. He played well. He played good defense. Good. Great. This is typical stuff. The Dallas game was one game. Exactly as we told you it was. It's one game. Oh, it is. Oh my gosh, he's not going to get. It's over. It's all over. They're not going to play him anymore. Nope. That's the aberration. 17 minutes, 1 point. That's the anomaly. Like the 6-point game is an anomaly. Now, that doesn't mean it won't happen again. It's going to happen again. Maybe not exactly 17 minutes at 1 point, but this will happen again. So what you should do now, in my opinion, prepare yourselves for it so that when it does happen, you don't have to get hitched to the emotional roller coaster and go up and down when it happens. And that's it. Now you can see it. You can see the curve here. You can see the way this plays out. So then the next time it happens, just anticipate it. This is what's happening for Jeremy as a player. He's not going up and down after every game. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, this kind of happens. There are going to be some games like this, but it's cool. One of the best things about this game is Jeremy didn't start out that great, but he stayed with it. Now, of course, it's easier to stay with it when you know you're going to get playing time because Harden's out. It's a lot easier to press and try to do too much when you're not sure if you're going to get playing time. But Jeremy worked through it tonight. And that's what the really good players do. You'll see some guys, they start out a game, they're shooting 3 of 12. They're not playing well, but by the end of the game, they've shot something like 9 of 20, and the numbers look pretty good. That's what happened for Jeremy tonight. And the more he does it, the more confidence he'll be able to get to keep doing it. So Dallas was one game. And through 14 games, Jeremy's played well in 12 of them. So that's 12 good, 2 not as good. Or 2 incompletes, or he wasn't given the chance to do better later. Great. Good. He showed he can bounce back, and that the Dallas game was just one thing. And we moved on to the next. And that's good. And again, we as fans can learn from that. Jeremy has gotten even better, as you guys know, and we've talked about before, at drawing fouls. He shot 8 free throws tonight. And how many, I can't remember, how many field goal attempts did he have? Not that many. What, 10? 11. So 11 field goal attempts and 8 free throw attempts. there's an advanced statistic known as free throw rate. And what that is it's basically a ratio between how many field goal attempts you take per game, and how many free throw attempts you get per game. That ratio for Jeremy is, actually, let me restate. It's actually free throw attempts divided by, or ratio to, field goal attempts. So in other words, if you take 2 field goal attempts for every free throw attempt you take, then your ratio is 0.500 or so. So it's a reverse thing. I said the opposite order of the numbers, but that's what it is. Jeremy's ratio for the season is like, it's above 500. That's incredible. That's a very, very rare thing, particularly for somebody like Jeremy. I mean, you'll see that for players like Kevin Durant or maybe like LeBron, who are really efficient players who know how to get fouled. For Jeremy to be at that level, that's even better than Linsanity 1.0. If he's able to keep that up, then he's going to be able to score easily, or even more easily. So that's, and you can see this if you go to basketballreference.com, which I go there a lot. Well, you can see it other places. I'm sure they have the statistic at like NBA.com. It's abbreviated as FTR, free throw rate. That's an amazing statistic. I mean, I'll give you an example. Like for Patrick, that number is like less than 0.200. It's not typical for a guard, particularly a point guard, to be able to do that. And if you watch this game, you saw Jeremy, he knows how to sell the fouls now. He knows how to get referees to make the call. A lot of you have said that he's learning from Harden. He is learning from Harden. So we diss Harden, but Jeremy's like a sponge. He's learning from Patrick. He's learning from Harden. He's learning from all of these guys. This is really, really good. Yeah, he got hit. Kevin Love hit him with an elbow, but I don't think it was on a drive. So Jeremy gets banged up kind of easily, but he's not taking the type of hits that he used to take on fouls when he gets fouled. He's not taking those hits anymore. He's learning how to sell a foul without taking a big hit, but he's still getting the free throws. That's extremely important as a player, particularly for a scorer. If you want to score a lot of points, you must be able to draw fouls. And Jeremy's getting better and better at it. And I'm just, this is one reason why his PER number is so high. He's getting more and more efficient as a scorer. And a big part of that is getting fouls. And it's impressive. That's just another part of his improvement. So I said, everything's improving for him. Everything. But it takes time to put the entire package together to get the kind of perfect player or maximized version of a player. He's well on the road now. But it's going to take a couple years. It's going to take a few years, given, again, hopefully that he maintains good health. He's doing great. And this is just another area where he's doing well. Again, Aaron Brooks doing well will help Jeremy. I know, and I even thought, oh man, Aaron Brooks is playing well. That means Jeremy's going to get even fewer minutes. No, what'll probably happen, and I think I said this in the short video, is then you can take out both Patrick and James and just put on Jeremy and Aaron. So it's not that Jeremy's going to get fewer minutes. It's just maybe Patrick will get a couple fewer minutes, or James will get a couple fewer minutes, that's what Dwight Howard was talking about. So if Aaron is able to play this way, it actually makes things easier for Jeremy. Because then you got another guy that can score the ball when you're out there, which means the defense's focus is less on you, and Aaron can handle the ball some, which means Jeremy can focus more on scoring. So this makes things easier for Jeremy. Yeah, he could lose a couple of minutes here and there. He's not going to lose very many minutes. Look, Jeremy's got almost a 19 PER. He's scoring well. He's playing well. They're going to play him. They're going to play him. Trust me. He's going to get minutes, particularly in this type of a system where they want to push the pace, and they do need fresh defenders, which is Dwight's whole point from the other night. He's going to play. So I welcome Aaron Brooks playing like this because it makes it even easier for Jeremy. And that's good. That's definitely a good thing. Okay, let's turn to quarter by quarter and go over some of what happened for Jeremy specifically throughout the game. Okay, as I mentioned, Jeremy started the game as, James Harden was sitting out once again. Then very early in the game, I put a note that says Bieber Parsons wants to run the fast break and not let Jeremy do it. So Chandler now has kind of gotten it into his head that he's basically LeBron James, like a point forward, but he's not. And we've seen him turn the ball over a couple of times in that situation. Again, look, I like Chandler. Please let the point guard play point guard. Okay? Jeremy's a better ball handler than you, Chandler. I know you want to prove that you're awesome and you're the dude and you can have double-digit assists in the games and handle the ball, but that's not the best way for the team to play, in my opinion. Jeremy's a better passer than Chandler is. Even though Chandler has gotten pretty good at the alley-oops, and that's good, but you can't run the break as well as Jeremy can. That's just not going to happen. Again, you're not LeBron James. So let Jeremy run the offense, particularly let him run the fast break. That's probably going to go a lot better. Jeremy had his first assist early in the game. He passed the ball to Patrick for a three-pointer, and that made the score 8-0. And as I said, Patrick and Jeremy work great together. They just play off of each other very, very well when they're on the court. And as I mentioned, the reason for that, or one reason for it on offense, they don't try to do the same thing. Patrick will sit up on the outside, which means Jeremy knows he's out there. Again, a big problem for Jeremy on this team is guys don't look for his passes, or he doesn't know where they're going to be. Well, he knows where Patrick's going to be. And Patrick's looking for the ball from Jeremy. That's a big part of why they work well together on offense. And on defense, Jeremy knows that Patrick's going to take care of his own man. So he doesn't have to worry about Patrick's man the way that you might have to worry about James Harden's man. That helps Jeremy out because then he can just focus on his own guy. So it's not a coincidence that the numbers for the team are pretty good when both of those guys are on the court together. They work well off of each other, and that's one reason why they end up closing out a lot of games together, and you'll probably see more of that in the time to come. I made a note early. It says defense. Jeremy is locked in on defense. The way you can tell if Jeremy is focusing on defense is to watch his defensive posture. The proper defensive posture is your back is straight, you're not hunched over, and the bend of your body is coming from your legs and not your back. It looks like a rigid, good posture thing, like you're sitting well. You can see that with Jeremy early in this game, and that meant that he was focused on defense for this game. And that's really good to see, and I'm sure Dwight Howard noticed it too, which is probably part of why he praised Jeremy after the game. Then Jeremy got a layup in transition early in the first, and you see Patrick went up and gave him a high five. said Patrick likes Jeremy. These guys definitely get along well. There's no question about it. And they know that they're learning from one another and that the competition is helping both of them. Sure, they both want to play. They both want to be the starter. But what these guys are probably thinking is a couple of years down the line, when one of them's probably on a different team, this is going to be this period now is going to have helped them a tremendous amount. So these guys are rooting for each other, and it's good to see. Then Kevin Martin got a shot over Jeremy, which was extremely lucky. And so Jeremy was playing good defense on him. This is what I said in the Philly game or one of the other games about fake confidence, meaning guys think they can score on Jeremy because they think Jeremy's not a good defender. So their confidence is inflated beyond what it should be. And this type of shot right here is exactly what was a result of that type of thing. And again, for Jeremy, you need to knock guys off of that perception. You need to get them away from feeling confident like that. And that's what he did to Kevin Martin in this game. And the more you do that, the more it will show up on the video for teams that are going to play you soon. So the scouts and the coaches will see, hey, this guy's not as easy to get points against as we thought. And pretty soon that whole idea about attacking you on defense is going to go away. And that's how you do it. And Jeremy's doing that. Then middle of the first, Jeremy had, again, more excellent defense against Kevin Martin. And then I could tell that Minnesota was trying to isolate Jeremy on defense. They were trying to attack him, and then Clyde Drexler said the same thing, as one of you pointed out in the short video. And this is where Clyde started with this stuff. Oh, it's going to be a big night for Kevin. Dude, shut up. What are you talking about? Again, who are you rooting for here? Why are you doing that? Now, I know, he's telling it like it is. That's great. Whenever he gives the benefit of the doubt, it always seems to go against Jeremy. Remember, we saw this in another game. Yeah, I can't remember who it was. But Jeremy took a guy off the dribble, and then Clyde's like, oh, he read the scouting report wrong. You should have made Jeremy go this way. Well, why are you saying that? Are you rooting for Jeremy or against Jeremy, Clyde Drexler? I mean, come on. Why are you doing that? I just don't get that. I really don't. And I truly hope that Clyde Drexler changes the way that he discusses Jeremy. I really, really hope that happens. Okay. Then Kevin Martin got a three-point shot, but it was in transition, and Jeremy wasn't guarding him. So this is one of the things. This will show up on the stat sheet. Kevin Martin hit a three against Jeremy, but he actually didn't. So, it just even goes to show you that Jeremy's defense was even better because Kevin didn't shoot well, and a lot of the shots that he did hit were when Jeremy wasn't on him. Then Jeremy, middle of the first, hit an off-the-dribble jump shot from the free throw line extended to the left. So if you drew an imaginary line going out to the left, that's about where Jeremy was, and he pulled up off the dribble and missed a jump shot. Soon after that, he missed his first three-point attempt off the game, which came from about 25 degrees right at the top of the arc, and it also was off the dribble. However, I will give Clyde credit here because he said Jeremy needs to keep shooting, and that's good. Like Malor Kayel, people saying he's being a little too tentative on offense. I agree. He was a little too tentative. But that's this whole confidence thing and not being able to play or thinking you're going to get pulled. But I do give Clyde credit for saying he needs to keep shooting. He's right. He does need to keep shooting. Both of Jeremy's first misses, the 2-point attempt and the 3-point attempt, were short. As I've told you guys before, when your shot is short, it usually means your legs are a little tired, or your legs they're not loosened up. And so that might have been the case for Jeremy here early in this game. Jeremy came out of the game with 3 minutes and 45 seconds left in the first quarter. Houston was up 18-15. And so that's fairly normal. You play your starters. They need to get some rest, especially when you expect to play them quite a bit in this game. And with James Harden out, it was expected Jeremy was going to play a lot of minutes. So I didn't really have any problem with that. And then Mikal started bringing in other subs too. So that's the whole thing. Then I put a note late in the first that said this team is not well coached. It's clueless. And that might have been a little harsh on Mikal, but there's gaps in how this team is. And some of it's just they're young, and some of it's that they're new, playing with one another, many of them. But, hopefully they'll get through that, and Mikal can become even better and better as a coach. The end of the first, Jeremy had 2 points and 0 rebounds and 1 assist. He had shot 1 of 3 from the field, 0 of 1 3-pointers, and his efficiency number at that point was 1. Kevin Martin at the end of the first quarter had 5 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists. His efficiency also was 1. Jeremy began the second quarter on the court with Aaron Brooks. Then Clyde Drexler said, hey, where's the scoring going to come from the second unit? With Jeremy out there, in other words. Clyde, you do understand that Jeremy's like second on the team in points per 36 minutes, right? I mean, he's averaging almost 19 points per 36 minutes. So that's probably a pretty decent idea of where the scoring can come from. Okay. Then Jeremy, early in the second, had a blown assist to Aaron Brooks for a 3-point shot, but I believe that's the only 3-point shot of the game that Aaron Brooks would miss. Then Jeremy got a blocked shot against Jose Barea, which was nice. Then Jeremy went to the rim, cut to the basket, and drew a foul on the, I can't remember who it was against. Might have been against Pekovic, although I'm not sure. He did a really smart thing on the play, and this was mentioned on the Houston broadcast if you heard it. He followed the big man down the lane. What this means is the center or the power forward, whoever the big guy is, they're going towards the basket in transition, I believe. And they haven't turned around yet to play defense. They're just running back. So if you're a player with the ball and you go right behind that guy, well, then when he turns around, he's probably going to foul you because they're just going to react. They're not ready for it. And that's exactly what Jeremy did, and he drew a foul. And that's what I'm talking about. It's a skill to draw fouls well. You'll see like Dwayne Wade, little pump fake, the guy jumps up, he'll jump into him and get it. That's a skill. That takes work and repetition. Well, Jeremy's getting better and better at this in multiple ways. He knows how important this is in order to be a good scorer and to help the team. Because not only do fouls help you and you get shots, well, you foul guys out on the other team. And the more fouls you get quicker in a quarter, the faster that your team is in the penalty or the other team's in the penalty, and you get automatic free throws on any foul that occurs. So he's getting better and better with this, and it's great to see. After that, Jeremy hit both free throws, I believe, and then he helped cause a blocked shot or a miss on defense, like it was a help defense. He went to help on someone else's man. Then Jeremy had another blown assist. This was a pass to Omer, who got fouled as he went up to make his shot. And then Clyde dissed the pass to Omer by Jeremy. Oh, I can't remember. This might have been the thing of... No, I know what Clyde said. He said, what do you think would have happened if Omer would have gotten fouled? Like you said, Omer would have gone out of bounds. And the whole point of the thing was that the pass wasn't great, or it wasn't the right time to pass it to him. And he said something almost opposite later about Patrick. And it's just like I said, that's just not fair, dude. You really got to stop doing it. Look, it's fine that he's pointing this out. And as Tim Wong said in the comments, these are good points. There's truth in what Clyde is saying. The problem is he's not saying it about other players. So you're pointing out the issues with Jeremy's game, but you're not pointing them out about other players. In fact, you're making excuses for similar things for other players. So what's a bad thing for Jeremy becomes a gutsy play for Patrick. That's garbage. And that's why people get mad. That's why I'm mad. It's fine to say things if you're fair about it and you treat everybody the same way. If you don't treat them the same way, then you're going to have people get upset. And that's why I'm upset, and that's why a whole bunch of you are upset. This is nonsense. So let's please work on that, Clyde Drexler. Okay, also early in the second, Jeremy had his first turnover of the game. He was just going to the basket or doing the kind of dribble around the paint, and he just lost control of the ball. So there's nothing, he simply lost the handle. And that's something that continued work on ball handling and stuff will get better. And he was in traffic. There were a couple guys around him. Someone might have poked the ball, but I think Jeremy just kind of, he wasn't sure what he was going to do. He lost his concentration for a second. It happens. That's not a big deal. The more he does that move, the less that will happen. Then Alexei Shved got a and one against Jeremy. They ran Jeremy off a pick, and he was trailing behind him, and he fouled him. But the truth was, it wasn't all his fault. Someone else on the team should have helped him out on that play, and they didn't. So he basically ended up having to foul Shved, and Shved scored. So then Jeremy missed his second three-pointer from about 50 degrees right of the top of the arc. And I just put in here, the shot's just off now. So, again, this was before he hit his threes later in the game. So, he's just been in a little bit of a slump with his three-point shot for until this point in the game, in the last game or two. But that's expected. He's still learning to become a shooter from three-point range, a good and consistent three-point shooter. So, we expect that. Then I've made a note that says Aaron Brooks is playing the point more, and Jeremy not as much. But we do want Jeremy to have the ball. But if Aaron Brooks can play the point, then Jeremy's probably going to have the chance to score more. So that's fine. That's okay. It's going to be a little bit of everything, and that's fine. Middle of the second, Jeremy made a really, really good play. The ball was going out of bounds, and he saved it, which was nice. And then I put Jeremy was kept in the game by McHale with Aaron Brooks because the Minnesota had made a run. And Houston had taken a timeout. It was like, McHale's going to pull him out of the game, but he didn't. And so it's like I said, look, again, give McHale credit when he deserves it. He kept them in the game and let them play through the mistakes. And that's good. That's exactly what young players need. You don't always have the chance to do that. There's a tension between I want to win, and my veterans might know how to do it a little bit better. Plus, I want to let the young guys work through it, and I think they can work through it. So this was an instance where McHale let them work through it. That's good. That's what Jeremy needs. That's how he was able to rebound in this game and do it and get it done. And right after that, Houston went on a run. They I don't know, they scored like 6-0 run or something. So McHale's confidence in Jeremy was rewarded, and that's good. That's what it should be. Soon after that, Jeremy had his second turnover, which was a bogus turnover. The ball actually went off of Ricky Rubio, or Ricky Rubio kicked the ball and the referee didn't call it, which was they just missed it. You could see Jeremy complaining about it, which he was correct to do. Then, soon after that, Jeremy did come out of the game and Aaron Brooks stayed in, and then Clyde said that McHale rewards, if you're playing hot, he'll keep you in. If you're not, you take him out. So Jeremy just had the turnover, and McHale took him out, and that's true. That's the fair McHale principle or whatever. And then right after that, Aaron Brooks hit a three, and then Clyde said, see, that's why he kept Aaron Brooks in the game. You know, again, this is the silliness. That's right. That is why he kept in the game. And if Jeremy had stayed in the game and hit the three, I'm just not sure Clyde would have said that same thing. And so I said, you know, this is the problem here. This is the problem. We're not sure if the same standards are going to be held up here. So once you start getting into a zone where people aren't sure if they can trust what you're going to say, that's not a good place to be, in my opinion. Then Bill Worrell, after that, said, yeah, Jeremy's struggling with his shot, so go with the hot hand, which sounds a lot like what JLin Rose said. So, again, there was a concern here. It's like, oh, okay, so Jeremy's got to play perfect or he's going to get pulled in the JLin Rose mode. But, fortunately, it didn't work out that way later in the game. Okay, going late to the second. Then Aaron Brooks had a really nice pass to Dwight Howard, a bounce pass, and Dwight couldn't catch it, and he didn't look for it. And so Aaron gets a turnover, which is totally bogus. This is the exact same thing that's happened to Jeremy numerous times this year. This is why the turnovers are still up a little bit, because it's a chemistry issue, because Dwight's not looking for the ball. So Aaron Brooks had the same thing happen to him that has happened to Jeremy, and that will get better. But the turnovers will look worse than they are, even when it's not the team's fault or you make a good pass, because that's the way the scoring is. If you made the pass and your teammate doesn't catch it, even when he should catch it, you still get charged with the turnover. So it's still happening, although it will improve as the time goes on. Then I put Aaron Brooks hit a three, and then I put this is why Houston has 3 point guards. This is why you have them there. And then Clyde Drexler said, all he needs is playing time, Aaron Brooks. Yeah, so how's that going to work, Clyde? So I wonder if Aaron gets more playing time, who's not going to get more playing time, right? Now, again, I know that's not true, because Aaron will get playing time, and so will Jeremy. But again, with the comments here and the pattern here by Clyde, well, who is Clyde rooting for, apparently, and who is he not rooting for? Like I said, look, I don't like talking about this stuff. I know one or two commenters, oh, you're being too hard on Clyde. Look, I don't want to think this stuff, and I don't want to talk about it. But believe me, if I'm feeling this way, there's a whole bunch of other people feeling the same way. And they do feel that way, which is why you see so many comments about it. It just, look, as somebody that does, I'm doing commentary now. I'm doing analysis. I know when I'm pointing things out about one person and not about another person. Clyde can change this if he wants to change it. He just needs to want to change it. Or maybe somebody needs to bring it up to him. It's not that complicated. And that's what it is. Then Aaron Brooks hit another crazy three, so he was definitely in a groove, which was great to see. Jeremy came back into the game with 1:20 left in the half. Came in for Patrick, I think, which I honestly didn't understand that. I thought Patrick was playing well. So I was kind of like, well, why is Mikal doing this? Maybe this was the thing about getting a breather. Maybe Patrick was tired. Maybe Patrick asked out. I don't know because I didn't see it. I actually thought, I didn't know why he was putting Jeremy back in there. Kind of, well, what is this? Why are you giving him a minute and a half stretch when Patrick was playing pretty well and the team's playing well? But maybe that's why. Maybe he wanted Patrick to get a little rest. I don't know. Then Jeremy, right after he came in the game, had a nice pass to Bieber for a three-point shot. And I put Houston turns ball over too much. And it wasn't Jeremy. It was somebody else. They really turned the ball over too much in this game. Just needlessly. And again, there's kind of a too relaxed atmosphere with turnovers. And the team doesn't know each other. And the team's young. So it's kind of like the worst mix possible, for turnovers. And they do need to, they do need to work on this. This is a limitation of the team. And because of this, you see with Jeremy, sometimes will get a short leash if he's turning the ball over. Because the team has a problem with turnovers. So that's why I want Jeremy to keep working on assisted turnovers, but not tonight. Tonight he played well, so I don't get hung up on the turnovers. Then Jeremy hit his first three-pointer of the game, catch and shoot three-pointer from about 15 degrees left of the top of the arc, right at the halftime buzzer. It was a great setup play. I can't remember. It was like a hockey assist. Maybe when Bieber passed it to somebody, then they passed it to Jeremy. Maybe it was Bieber to Caspi, and then Caspi to Jeremy, and just drilled it. And you can see Jeremy knew it was going in and kind of did a little swag move with one of his legs, and it was great. So it was good. It gave Jeremy a chance to kind of regain a little confidence with his three-point shot, which is what he needs. Just, again, being somebody that's getting new to being a good three-point shooter, you need to build your confidence up. It was a type of shot to give him confidence going forward, so it was good to see. Okay, at halftime, Jeremy had 7 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 2 of 5 shooting from the field, including 1 of 3 from three-point range, 2 of 2 free throws, no steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers, 1 personal foul. Plus minus was a +4. His efficiency was 7. Aaron Brooks already had 16 points. He was rolling. Kevin Martin for the T-Wolves had 9 points, 1 assist. His efficiency was 4. Jeremy began the third quarter on the court, then had excellent defense on Kevin Martin and forced a Kevin Martin miss very early in the third, which was nice. Then I put, Patrick had a drive, and he almost had a turnover. And Matt Bullard and Bill Worrell both said it, but Clyde defended Patrick on the pass and said it was a good pass. That's not fair. Okay? Because it was a difficult play. And it was good that it was a good play and that Patrick completed it. But you said earlier in the game, Clyde, that Omer Asik, the pass to, you implied, without mentioning Jeremy's name, that the pass to Omer wasn't a good pass. So even though you said Omer and Jeremy got bailed out on the foul call on that play, so they got bailed out. But Patrick almost turned the ball over, and you didn't say anything about a bailout. You just said it was a great play, even though the other two announcers said it was almost a turnover. I mean, this is nonsense. This is nonsense. It really is. As I said, this is the first time that I listened to Clyde. And again, I've said many things where I was like, this is going to be an ongoing issue for him. This is not going to apparently get a lot better. So, it's not good. It's not good. It really isn't. It really makes me angry. So I I don't know. Thank goodness there are other announcers too. Let's just put it that way. They're not always fair either. And this is why people listen to other feeds. And they listen to the away feed. So this is something, if I was running the broadcast for the Houston side, I'd want to know what people thought about all this. And if I heard some of this feedback, then I might try to change things a little bit. So that's all I'm saying. I would look at all of this. Then Kevin Martin hit a 3, I believe, or he was wide open for a 3 because Jeremy had gone to play help defense, but it was a good play. That was actually a play where Jeremy was making the right move. He didn't overhelp in a bad way. Excuse me. He helped out in the way that he should have, but it still left Kevin Martin wide open for a 3, and that's going to happen. That's a drive, draw, and dish type of a thing. Then early in the third, Jeremy got his third turnover of the game. I did not see it, but he did jump to pass, which the announcer said. And then it led to a Minnesota score. This is where Jeremy was trying to do a little too much. This is the McHale 29 points, 9 turnover thing. And this is Jeremy as a starter feeling a little too relaxed because he knows he's going to get time. He can play differently than this. That's the way he played in the last 4 games. And again, this is the type of thing that will have the team put him on a leash, a short leash. Because they know when he has to think about it, he won't do it. But when he's not thinking about it, he might let the turnovers flow. So he has to keep working at this. But I'm not going to focus on it too much tonight because he played well overall. And this is normal development for a young player, particularly a young player who's a combo guard coming out of college, played a lot of shooting guard and is still working on the point guard skills. And with a team that isn't used to a lot of his passes and isn't looking for them. So again, I don't want to over-focus on it for one instance. He does need to keep working on it. Don't force passes. Don't jump the pass. Don't get hung up on drives. Don't get in the air without knowing where you're going. That's all of that is true. That's true. So, but he did play well overall tonight. We don't need to get stuck on it. The same. Aaron Brooks had 4 turnovers in this game, but he played great. So you're not going to focus on the 4 turnovers, even though it's something that you want Aaron to keep working at. Okay, then Jeremy had his third assist of the game. He again found Patrick for an open 3 that Patrick hit. Like I said, that happened at least twice in this game. Jeremy knows where he is. He's looking for him. Patrick knows Jeremy will find him. So he can concentrate on his form on the shot, and boom, bang, it works. These guys work great together. They really, really do. And that's another reason why I'm sure they two like each other. They know they play well together. So you love that guy because that guy is going to make you look better. For Jeremy, you're going to get an assist because Patrick's going to hit the shot. And for Patrick, Jeremy's going to set you up for a perfect shot. So I mentioned about how Terrence Jones and Jeremy have great chemistry. Well, so do Patrick and Jeremy. And these are guys that Jeremy trusts because he knows they're going to be looking for the shot and they're going to be looking for the pass. That's what you want as a guy that's a playmaker. That you want guys that go hit the shot and that know to look for the pass. So good. This is great to see. Then on that play, which worked, and it worked great, Jeremy drove to the lane and jumped in the air because he knew where Patrick was. But Clyde dissed him for it. Clyde, he jumped the pass. Well, what about when Patrick jumped the pass? No, but that was a great play. But now that Jeremy jumped the pass, he shouldn't jump the pass. I mean, this is just freaking just so stupid. I mean, there's no other way to say it. This is ridiculous. It really is. I don't understand this at all. This was really bad in this game. And it was consistently bad. The whole game. The apparent bias by Clyde Drexler against Jeremy. You gotta be consistent, dude. You gotta be consistent. You can't do it like this. It's just not good. It's not good form. And it's not going to work for a whole bunch of people that are watching this team around the world. I can tell you that right now. It's not going to work. Now, not everybody around the world's getting the Houston feed. This is just going to make people upset. I would really work on that if I were Clyde. Middle of the third, I put that Jeremy's cutting off the ball well, meaning that he's playing well without the ball on offense, and he's cutting to the basket. He has to be careful about this, though, because sometimes he will get the ball in the lane, and he's not in a good spot. But he's doing this properly. To learn to play without the ball more, you have to make a lot of cuts. And so Jeremy's getting better and better at this. He clearly was working to do this in this game. And it's good to see that he's developing this. Then I put Chandler doesn't want to give the ball to Jeremy again, and Chandler ended up with the turnover because he tried to do it. I put, nice job, Bieber. The more he does this, the more I'll figure out he shouldn't be doing it. Chandler doesn't handle the ball well enough to do this consistently. Yes, he can get some assists. Yes, he can make a nice drive here or there. He doesn't. It's not something he should be doing. The same way that James Harden shouldn't be running ISOs all the time. So, it's good that he got the turnover because it'll get easier for him to make the right play the next time. Then Jeremy, I think he was playing against Corey Brewer. Jeremy was on offense, Brewer was on defense, and Brewer tried to get too close to him. And Jeremy went right by him, and he got a little layup. And then Clyde said, it's nice to see him jump and shoot. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, he didn't jump to pass. He. Come on, man. He's right about that. And this is what I've told you guys about the pick and rolls in the recent games. Don't always look for the pass because you will get turnovers. When you get up in the air, you should shoot. That's fine, but I didn't hear Clyde saying this about anybody else. Again, it's not that what Clyde's saying is wrong. He's just not saying it about anybody else except for Jeremy. So he's pointing out the weaknesses for Jeremy and not pointing them out for anybody else. And that's not good. Okay. Then Jeremy had a rebound, middle of the third. He then missed an off-the-dribble pick-and-roll shot. I don't know, maybe like a 15-footer. He just rushed the shot. He took it too quick when he went up for the shot. Then Jeremy was called for a foul in transition, which I honestly thought was going to be called a charge on I believe it was Brewer, but it was not. It was a close call, but it was a good play by Jeremy. It was against Brewer, and that's the type of play you want to make as a defender. It's definitely a strong defensive play. Then Jeremy came out of the game with 4 minutes and 40 seconds left, I believe. And Aaron Brooks came in for them. And then Clyde said, why wasn't Aaron Brooks in the game earlier? So when Clyde says he just needs playing time, meaning Aaron Brooks, again, who do you think Clyde might be thinking about that he's going to get playing time over? Now, Aaron was hot, and he maybe should have been in the game earlier. Part of the reason why he wasn't in the game earlier was because he had 4 turnovers. So I said, Mikhail doesn't like turnovers, and he likes defense. So if you do those things, if you keep the turnovers low and you play defense, you're going to get more playing time. Well, at least if you're not named James Harden. Anyway, Your name's James Harden. You might not have to play defense, and you might be able to turn the ball over a whole bunch, and you're still going to get a bunch of playing time. But for everybody not named James Harden, it's better if you play more defense and keep the turnovers down, and then Mikal will play you more. So late in the third, let's see. Again, Jeremy was out of the game at this point, and Aaron Brooks was still doing really good things here. So at the end of three quarters, it was 82-74 Houston. They were up by 8. Jeremy had 9 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He was 3 of 7 shooting, including 1 of 3 from three-point range, and his efficiency was 10. Aaron Brooks already had 20 points. Patrick had 14 points. Kevin Martin had 12 points and a 4 efficiency for the Wolves. Okay, Jeremy began the fourth quarter on the court with Aaron Brooks. Early in the fourth, he hit his second three-pointer of the game, catch-and-shoot 3 from 35 degrees right of the top of the arc, which was great. Then Aaron Brooks hit an off-the-dribble three-pointer and he's feeling it. He just had a great groove growing, and it was awesome. Then Jeremy had a blown assist to Omri Caspi in transition for a layup attempt, which was missed. I thought he'd be able to hit that, but he didn't. Then Jeremy was fouled. This actually might have been the foul this might have been when he got hit by Kevin Love with the elbow. Not sure, but it was a really nice play. It was just a really, really good play to get Kevin Love to foul him. He missed one free throw, made the second one. Then Jeremy scored off of a pick and roll. He came off a pick and roll play and got a left-handed layup, which was tremendous. Then Clyde Drexler said, Jeremy's doing so great off the bench. He loves his role off the bench, and he doesn't have any pressure. Junk. Total garbage junk. That's hater nonsense. Oh, he's doing well because he's off the bench. How many times have we heard that garbage? Has nothing to do with coming off the bench. And oh, by the way, Clyde, Jeremy started tonight. Do you remember that? So just as Jonathan Feigen of the Chronicle has noted, Jeremy scores better as a starter. So it has nothing to do with the bench. And Jeremy doesn't like his role, which is what we heard in the ESPN New York article from Ian O'Connor, who talked to a source apparently close to Jeremy. Jeremy didn't want this role, apparently. And he's not under pressure. Of course he's under pressure. He's under more pressure now because he doesn't get to start. And he might not get any minutes, like against Dallas. So all of the things that were said in that sequence were false. He doesn't like the role. He's not better off the bench, and he's actually under more pressure. More nonsense talk from Clyde Drexler. And this is narrative stuff. And again, this is why people say these things, so that people like Clyde Drexler will repeat them. They say false things like what Clyde just said, so that you can have a nice little false explanation of why Jeremy's doing well. And it gets to fit your little storyline about he's so great off the bench. We told you he shouldn't start. So that when Jeremy does well, you get to look like not a moron for saying that he shouldn't start, and you get to pretend that he's doing well because he's coming off the bench. It's just Fantasyland garbage. But this is how it works. And Psalm from Twitter and over at JLin.net, I told you, this is why people put stuff out there, so that it gets perpetuated by people like Clyde Drexler, and then that becomes the narrative. The narrative becomes Jeremy's doing great because he's coming off the bench, which is junk. So We put out the opposite information, which is, hey, the team's 0-3 when Patrick plays more minutes than Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy scores more points when he's the starter, etc., etc. You have to challenge this nonsense, or else it becomes the accepted storyline, even when it's 100% false, which is exactly what this is. Has nothing to do with Jeremy, whether he's bench or whatever. It has to do with Jeremy's skill level and Jeremy's improvement. Jeremy's putting up tremendous numbers, and he puts up even better numbers when he's the starter, from what my understanding is. And that's it. So, but people like Clyde Drexler or people like Hater Central can still pretend that it's because he's coming off the bench and he's finally found his role, even though he's healthy now and his skill level's better now, and that's really what it's about. So you have to keep fighting this. This is why I said get in the game. You have to fight this stuff so that it doesn't become accepted. It has to be challenged. And that's why we do what we do. That's a big part of why I make the videos, to fight this freaking nonsense talk. It'll get easier. Again, Gandhi, they laugh at you, then you win. You have to keep fighting. Keep pushing. Just like Jeremy's pushing to improve and do his thing. Then right after that, also early in the fourth, Jeremy was he had his fourth turnover. He came around, I believe, a pick and roll, and was going to the basket, and someone, I think Corey Brewer, tipped the ball away from him. Corey Brewer has very long arms and is good at this. And then it's just Clyde again. Another turnover. Right after it's another turnover. Yeah, I just seemed to mention that right when Jeremy turned the ball over. And I think Patrick had a turnover later, and he said Corey Brewer just has long arms, making an excuse, but he didn't make that excuse here. No, he rubbed in another turnover. This is honestly, this might have been worst night from Clyde. And he's had a couple bad ones this year. This had a really bad feel to it. This really had to feel like he was going after Jeremy or trying to just make Jeremy look bad because of what he said about him and trying to protect Patrick and others. It's garbage. Just nonsense. And it also felt like Clyde was trying to take away from Jeremy because Jeremy was starting to do well. Jeremy was starting to put up points. He was starting to put up a little bit more points than Patrick. He was getting close to it. So the story wasn't so easy anymore of Patrick, the great shining star starter, because now Jeremy was catching up to him in points. And so, another turnover. No, it's not that great, not that great. Yeah, nonsense. Okay, now Kevin Martin was starting to try to attack Jeremy. He was starting to get into that mode, the James Anderson, Kyle Lowry, etc. mode. Let's attack Jeremy at the end of the game. Jeremy's the easy target on defense, so we're going to isolate him and keep doing it. And Kevin Martin started to do that. But Jeremy responded to it, and it was good. Then Clyde Drexler praised Aaron Brooks for some a transition pass that Aaron made way up ahead of him. But, again, didn't hear any of that for Jeremy. Jeremy had a very similar pass to Omri Caspi that Omri didn't convert, and didn't hear any of the praises then when Jeremy did. Then Jeremy was playing more great defense on Kevin Martin, and he got called for a foul, and actually Kevin Martin hit him in the face. It's just a nonsense call, in my opinion. But again, Kevin Martin was trying to go to work on him, but Jeremy knew it. So I said he knows it now. He knows what the game plan is against him, and he was going against it. And this was great. Then Jeremy, right after that play, he stopped Kevin Martin. Kevin Martin wanted to get another shot on him, and he wouldn't let him do it. He forced Kevin Martin not to take a shot. That was tremendous. Then Jeremy on the other side went right to the basket. He was fouled. made both free throws, and now he's racking up stats. So Jeremy turned the tables here. Okay? He knew Kevin Martin was going to try to come at him. He didn't let Kevin Martin go at him, and he went at Kevin Martin. That's the way you take care of your business. They want to go at you, you go at them. And that's what Jeremy did. This became a one-on-one thing in a lot of ways, and Jeremy got the best of it. And I'm not sure if Clyde Drexler liked that. Too bad, Clyde. Get in line with the haters and take the crying towel. Have fun. Jeremy won again, whether you like it or not. And then I put Jeremy had his 4th assist early in the 4th. Another pass to Patrick for another 3. So that was the 3rd time in the game that Jeremy passed the ball to Patrick and he hit a 3-pointer. And I think earlier in the game he passed to Patrick who missed a 3-pointer. So I would say at least 4 of Patrick's 3-point shots in this game came from passes by Jeremy. And on those 4, he was 3 of 4. Because again, Jeremy's going to get you the ball in a good spot most of the time. And Patrick knows that. And if you're a shooter and you know that, you get to concentrate on your shot. Because you know the ball's coming and you know you're going to get it where you want it. So, look, all credit to Patrick because now he's hitting his threes. Jeremy has a lot to do with that. A lot to do with it. And that might not be the same case for Jeremy because it's not the same thing. He's not getting the ball, and he might not be getting the ball where he wants it because he doesn't get the pass to himself. He has to rely on somebody else. This is the Jeremy Lin effect. This is like Linsanity 1.0. Everybody starts shooting well and happy, and the offense looks good because Jeremy's getting the ball right. That's a huge, huge thing. People will say, it's a Patrick's hitting threes. Well, he is. Guess who's setting it up? That's a big part of the story. Then Jeremy got another defensive stand against Kevin Martin and made him miss, and that was great. Then Clyde Drexler says, hey, Patrick and Aaron are shooting so great on threes tonight. But we didn't hear any praise for Jeremy. It was another one of those cases where it felt like, hey, Jeremy's putting up numbers now. And he's shutting down Kevin Martin. It's time to praise the other guys again. And then I made a note here that says, it almost feels like Clyde Drexler's playing the role of the guy who's got to bring down the Jeremy Lin hype. Maybe Jeremy's getting too much hype. And he's starting to put up numbers again. Time to mention the other guys. Just in case Jeremy's getting too much hype. I really hated the way it felt tonight with Clyde. And I hate to use that word. Hate. This really felt bad. And it's why I keep mentioning it. I don't want to talk about this. I don't. This felt totally wrong. It really did. And it's not right to have somebody on your own team's broadcasting group doing this. It shouldn't be like this. It really shouldn't. It's like it's not a. I don't think Clyde dislikes Jeremy at all. But it's like something's going on there. There's some issue there. It's what it feels like. And this shouldn't happen over and over again. It really shouldn't, in my opinion. Then Jeremy forced Corey Brewer to miss a shot in transition. So Jeremy was playing some fantastic defense at this point in time. Just tremendous defense. It was great. This is middle of the 4th still. Jeremy got his 5th assist. He had a great feed to Chandler Bieber for a layup, and it was an incredible pass. I think Chandler was coming to Jeremy's right. And it was amazing that Jeremy saw him. He knew exactly where Chandler was going to be. And so Jeremy it was almost a look away, or he wasn't looking or something, and he knew exactly where the cut was coming from Chandler, and right to him for a layup. It was Jeremy's getting more and more comfortable with the teammates and where people are going to be. And as I said, the turnover is a big part of them. You don't know where people are. They're not looking for passes. You have to get the spacing down on where guys are cutting and where they're moving and where they want the ball, and Jeremy's starting to get it. So he still does need to work on turnovers and not forcing plays. But it's starting to come now. The whole vision of where these new guys are and where the offense is going and where guys are going to be. And as it gets better and better and better, you'll see more things like Linsanity 1.0 in New York. Jeremy knew everything and where everybody was and knew where to make alley-oops to, and then it just became the offensive wizard show. He's not going to be able to do that as much in Houston because of Harden having the ball. But you will see more and more of that in the time to come in spurts, because he's getting more comfortable with it now. And it's great. You can feel it. It's on the way. It's really, really good. Then Jeremy had his 5th turnover of the game. He went to make a pass, and it was picked off by Corey Brewer, who, again, Corey Brewer is an excellent defender, and he does have extremely long arms. So what that means is Corey Brewer can make defensive plays that most guys can't make. And so when you're on offense, you don't expect guys to be able to make that play. But Brewer can make it. So when you play him, you have to be even more careful. And so if you're not used to it, you'll get a turnover because you're not used to playing against guys that can do that. So you just have to – Jeremy will learn that. And Jeremy, late in the 4th, had a steal, which is a really nice steal, and he was fouled by Ricky Rubio. And then he went up to try to do a dunk like after the play was ended, but I think he missed the dunk. Then I think maybe that's when he got hit on the head. I'm not sure, or I don't know. But this is when the welt that he got on the side of his head was starting to really blow up. Then I put JLin in effect now. This is like he was totally in his groove now. He was in his groove offensively. He was in a groove defensively. He was in a groove passing. So this is the killer instinct stuff. When Jeremy gets into his zone, he's unstoppable. And he was in his zone now. And again, it's harder for him to get into his zone in general right now because he's not getting as much playing time. He's concerned about making mistakes, and he's still thinking about things a lot. But you will see this more and more. You will see this more and more. And once again, it just goes to show the Dallas game was, I'm not going to say it was a fluke, but you're going to see less and less of that as time goes on. You will see it in certain times, in certain matchups, that's the whole speed of the game and all this stuff, but it's going to get less and less. And as Jeremy keeps doing well, you will see the confidence more and more and the zone more and more for him. So it's still going to take time, but we're moving towards that position. Okay. Then, I'm going to say that, just silliness. Then Clyde Drexler made the thing of JLin gets hit more than Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, that was so fun. That was such a great joke. Clyde, I'm sure all the Manny Pacquiao and JLin fans really appreciated that funny one. Yeah. Hey, Clyde, did you see the Manny Pacquiao fight? Because he didn't get hit much, but the other guy got hit a whole bunch. So that little funny joke for Manny, that's probably over now. So just so you're caught up to speed on that. Okay, then Jeremy missed his third three of the game. I didn't see it, so I can't tell you exactly where it was from. But again, it was kind of a heat check three, meaning Jeremy was grooving and he was doing whatever he wanted. So hey, let's take a three. I think I'm going to hit it. So cool. That's good. I like that attitude. Then Jeremy fouled Corey Brewer in transition. I think soon. He fouled him in transition. So, excuse me. That was another foul for him. Then I put the note, Jeremy shot his way through this game, and he fought his way through this game. In other words, as I said earlier, he had a tough start, but he played his way through it, and he was given time to play his way through it, and he had time to play through it because James Harden wasn't around. So what this points to is that, yes, there may definitely come the time where Jeremy needs to go to another team so that he has more time. And he's not playing with James Harden. He's not playing with other guys. And he'll get more time to play through it. And it'll come. It's just not going to happen right now. This is what I said. The Phoenix Suns, Kevin Johnson, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, all of them the same team. And nobody gets a ton of minutes. He'll get there. The best thing he can do now is don't demand a trade or any of this stuff. Maximize your time now, which is to say, learn from Patrick. Work on your defense. Work on your turnover so that when you do go to a situation and you do get a bunch of time, you're even better and your game's even further ahead. So that's what he needs to do now, and he's doing it. He's doing it. Then Jeremy had an offensive rebound. Then he had another pass to Patrick for a three. So maybe this was the one I thought about earlier. So again, 4 of Patrick's three-pointers, at least, of the 8 that he took were from passes from Jeremy. That's not a coincidence. This is what Jeremy does for other players. As again, Steve Novak, Landry Fields, this is what Jeremy does for guys. He sets them up, and they makes them look even better. Then Jeremy had a turnaround miss. It looked like he definitely wanted to get to 20 points, but it didn't happen. The turnaround miss it wasn't a perfect shot, but again, this is one of these perimeter offensive moves, the isolation one-on-one moves that Jeremy needs to work on. So it's nice to see him doing it. Then Jeremy came out with about 1 minute left, and he got a big ovation from the crowd, and it was good. And then the summary that, I just said, this is a good night for Jeremy. So Jeremy had 10 points in the quarter. He really clamped down on Kevin Martin. I think Kevin Martin had like 7 points in the quarter, but he also had a bunch of misses. So just, again, Mr. Fourth Quarter came through strong, and that was good to see. All right, so wrapping up the game. Again, Jeremy showed that he can be good as a starter. And again, the team won with him as a starter, notwithstanding this nonsense by Clyde Drexler, bench roll, blah, 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 blah. Yes, it does appear that James Harden will be out for the next game against Memphis, which means Jeremy's going to get a chance to start again. Now, Memphis is a tremendous defensive team, and they have a shot blocker in Marc Gasol. However, Marc Gasol just got hurt, which means that could be an opportunity for Jeremy to get some good drives to the rim. The team moved the ball very well in this game. They really did, but they did turn the ball over too much as well. Jeremy does have to be careful not to get too loosey-goosey, meaning too relaxed when he's the starter as far as the turnovers go. Stay disciplined, even when you are the starter. I mentioned why Dwight praised Jeremy's defense and how that was a message to McHale and to James Harden, but it was also a message to Jeremy in a positive way. And look, it's great to see that Jeremy is showing his consistency, and he bounced back from the Dallas game, and the three-point shot came back around in this game for him, and that's really good to see. Okay, it is currently 12:11 p.m. here on Sunday, November 24th in the United States, which means it is Monday, November 25th in Taipei, Taiwan, and it is about 1:12 a.m. there, very early on Monday. Want to thank Gary Chen, whose artwork you're looking at now. He is a member of the Jeremy Only Lynn Garden fan club, and he is a blogger and artist in Taiwan. We really appreciate his work, and we appreciate all the kindness that the Jeremy Only Lynn Garden fan club has shown to us here at Conservative New Media. Thanks very much, and we certainly appreciate the artwork. I haven't had a lot of chance to be on Twitter lately. I know different people sent me stuff over there. I'm sorry. I just haven't had a chance to be there. I've just been really busy. And doing the Twitter and all the comment, it takes a lot of time. And I like doing it, but sometimes I just don't have time to do it. So I just more kind of try to stick to doing the videos. And even the videos take a lot of time themselves. So that's sometimes why I get a little bit behind in getting them up quick. But so I just want to tell you guys that if I don't get to respond to you immediately or whatever on Twitter, it's nothing personal. It's just a matter of a time type of a thing. As I said earlier, if you hadn't had a chance to go and watch the Jeremy Lin limitations speed of the game video I made the day after the Dallas game, I definitely go and check that out. You'll see it on the channel. Also, I made a video about the Manny Pacquiao fight last night, so if you're a Pacquiao fan, you're going to want to go and watch that as well. Next game is coming up tomorrow here in the United States. It will take place on Monday, November 25th. It is in Memphis, Tennessee against the Grizzlies. It will be at 8 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States, which means it will take place on Tuesday, November 26th at 9 a.m. in Taipei, Taiwan. Jeremy should be starting, as far as I understand. So it's another start for him coming up, and we're looking forward to it. It should be a good game. Memphis is a good team. They're a very good team. They're not quite as good as they were last year. They got off to a slow start, but they've been doing well recently. But they're not the same team without Marc Gasol. So this is definitely a winnable game for Houston, and I hope they're going to win it, and hopefully Jeremy's going to be able to play well. Okay, thumbs up, thumbs down, your comments below. I'm sure there's a lot for you to say about this game. Come and join us on the Conservative New Media Facebook group, which has over 2,500 members and counting. Come and join us on the CNM JLin Vids Twitter account. Come and follow us there. I do put out stuff there when I can, including statistics and different things. And, of course, I put out when these videos come out. I am PFE Paula Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. Great game. Jeremy bounced back exactly the way that we expected him to do so. No surprises. He's getting better and better and getting more and more consistent. It's great to see him play his defense again in this game that we know he's capable of playing. Look, I'm expecting good things tomorrow. So hopefully he's feeling okay in terms of the little bump that he got on his head, and he'll be ready to roll for tomorrow. I hope all you guys are having a nice night or nice day wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. Take care. We will talk to you again soon.